Abhimanyu, congratulations. A very difficult game. You really had to work for the full point. And, you know, last year wasn't such an easy start for you at the juniors, but definitely it felt like you came determined in this tournament.
Yes, the thing with this tournament is whether you come second or you come 10th, there's no difference at all. Like from my point of view.
Right. You want to win it.
Yeah, I really want to
win
win this.
Absolutely. Well, let's talk about your first round game. And again, not an easy opponent. Definitely you chose this variation, but it felt like he sort of surprised you with this bishop to d7.
Yeah, bishop d7, I don't remember him having any games in this, but I think that this position, like, it seems, of course, like everything is like very close to draw, but it feels that like when I have opposite colored bishops, and if I ever get e45 like I did in the game, I have some very serious winning chances. But of course, there should be some way not to allow this.
e45, you mean in the endgame?
Yes.
Yes.
Because, yeah, here, I think this king f8 is kind of inaccurate, like a couple moves ago.
Yes.
Because here, I think black should go rook b4.
Yes,
and
best move in the position.
Now the idea is like if I go rook a4, you can go like rook b3.
Okay.
And this is, okay, still close to equal, but I'd still prefer white.
Right.
Because the thing is, whenever you take on c1, I'm essentially up by a pawn. Because A and C pawns, you're not going to ever promote them, and e4, e5, like this is much more valuable.
Makes sense, yeah. Central majority.
And another good thing about white's position is, like, of course, it looks like you have like all these terrible pieces on the back rank, but you have this knight on bishop on c6 and knight on c4.
So despite the limited material, you're still feeling quite comfortable with the position and your advantage.
Yes, because I didn't see a way for black to force a draw, and okay, if you have a game.
But he defended well. He really defended well. And then
yeah, I think this king e2 is also nice, because originally after this whole position, if black ever gets f5, knight f6, he's fine. Like, for example, after rook d2. Like, if you went f5, this is the first thing I was calculating, because if this works, then okay, black goes knight f6, and he covers e4. Well, I can still try a bit, but it's nothing much. But I think I have king c3. And the point is now, wherever you move, like rook b8, I have rook d5.
Okay, that makes sense.
And now, like bishop b4, I go king c2. g6, I have rook d7.
Okay, he doesn't have enough time to cover everything.
He's just one move away.
Yeah, very nice. So he played rook b8.
Now I think, yeah, king e2 is a nice move, because if I go e4, if I go h3, you go rook d8. I was also, this endgame didn't seem so clear to me, because I go king e2, like take, knight f6. Now here, maybe king c3, king e7, b4. The point is, I was asking, like, you're trying to ask where this bishop is going. If bishop d6, e4, you win a piece.
Seems
so
like
bishop
you
b6.
have to go bishop b6.
And now, I thought this is probably a draw, but okay, this bishop on b6 is kind of stuck. Maybe I can try some g4, g5 somewhere, but I think this king e2 is much nicer, because I get control of the d file.
You're still the one having all the fun in the position.
Yes, also what I think is, what I think he missed is knight g4, rook d2. This position, it looks, sorry, like a couple moves ago.
Yes.
Because here, actually, bishop takes e3 is a very critical line to calculate. Yes, but here, because knight takes e3, rook b3 is fine, so I go rook. My plan was to go rook e2. Now, okay, bishop c5, rook e8 is made.
That's a checkmate.
And if he goes knight f2, like here, king e3, rook c4 might win, but now like knight d1, knight g4, this is very. It doesn't work. You just go, but what's important is I have king c3, and okay, everything collapses.
Very nice. Yeah, he does. He doesn't have a way to defend absolutely everything. And once again, bishop c5 doesn't work. Yeah. Very nice. Nice calculation.
But yeah, this point I felt like this position must be completely winning. And
really? That's how you assessed it. Very nice. Oh, okay, that's confident.
But this f5 is probably too early. Like there must be something better than this, but I was worried that somewhere if he goes knight e6 at the right time, take on e6, then this pawn on f4 will get.
So let's say something.
Will be
like
sort
this.
of weak, because somewhere like king e7, bishop h2. So I cannot really freely go knight c7, king c4, king b5 as I would want to go.
Yeah. So you played f5, you felt.
But yeah, now this bishop d4, and all of a sudden, okay. Now knight e8, this position is actually quite interesting. Like black is probably making a draw. But what's important is, like, if he goes knight c7, this is what I spent like 15 minutes in this position instead of when I was playing c6. And I calculated this to be winning. The whole point is I want to keep my king on, say, a6, b7. And then, okay, but there's also one important thing, that if he ever goes h5, king g8, king h7, like I think h5 I should meet with h4.
Okay.
Because if I don't do this, he gets his king to... If he takes on f6, it's a draw. Because
Okay.
if the h8 square is
Right.
wrong color.
Right.
So here I have h4, king g8, say like king c4, a6, king c5.
So what if he goes king h7?
I go bishop f5.
Now you give him a check.
Now you can try king h6 and try some stalemate things, but okay, king b5. Even if you give up the a pawn somehow, I'm not going to play c7. I'll just bring my king over to e8, take f7.
That makes sense. Very nice. Very nice.
And the point with this bishop on d7 is okay, your king will never come in the game.
Yeah.
And I have this zugzwang with, if black tries like h6 for example, like knight c7 takes f6. I'm not sure how exactly you can make it my turn, but let's say h6, king c4, a6. I can go king c5. And I'll keep repeating this position. Like you have to go king g8 probably. And I thought maybe
triangulate maybe,
yeah.
yeah? Like
But-
king b4, king something.
But okay,
like that.
he's not necessarily forced to do that. But yeah, bishop d8 I can always meet with king d5. So yeah, maybe this is also working.
Okay. Okay.
And the other thing is I can also try like bishop 5, bishop d3. Because some of these lines I have to, well, you have to be very careful that...
Force a5, right, so that you can start going king b5, king a6. That makes a lot of sense. Very nice calculation there, and
Yeah, now this endgame, it's probably a draw.
it's still a draw, but it's
very
not
difficult
easy,
to defend
right?
this.
And I think this was the critical mistake.
Because the point is I forced him to, like I got this h4 at a very nice moment because h4, because if he went h5, I had knight f4, and
Yeah.
I think it was working out in my favor.
Yeah.
And now here, all he needs is like, all I need is to bring my king onto e6 and game is over. Like this bishop d2, knight c5, I got knight, if I get knight to a6, king e6, king f7, it's resignable. Because the issue is, if you keep bishop on this a1 to h8 diagonal, I go king g7, king f7, king g7, take h6.
Yeah.
If you keep bishop on g5, I can go c7, king d6, king c6.
Yeah.
Well, not king c6, bishop f4, but I'll play king e7, I can even bring my king to g7, should be lost.
And he played bishop d2. After that, you got
Yes.
the knight c5, king c4. Abhimanyu, congratulations. Big victory for you. Your ambitions are pretty clear for this tournament. We'll see you in the rest of your games.
Thank you.
Well done, Mishra. Well done indeed. And let's just take a look.